Well, good morning. Set you up there kind of fairly nicely, I think. So I'm going to let you alone rather than show my face. I'm trying to figure out. I think I'll start with the Viridian green for that tabletop. Maybe I can put on some water on it as well and just play about with wet and wet. I see other people doing this, you see, and I think it's lovely. So I thought I'd just give it a shot. There's a bit of patience regarding the wet and wet technique too, isn't there, that maybe I don't have. And also I'm using it on the slope, so it's kind of necessary, I think, to stop it all flowing down the way. Right, now that thing in there is going to be quite a dark shape, and I'd say I probably need to wait for these things to dry before I can do the dark pot in the middle. But I can get on to the daisies anyway. I suppose I will start by finding a colour to represent the centre of the daisy. And I think that's cadmium orange there. It's not a bad looking colour to begin with, I reckon. I mean, this daisy is in shadow really, but even just to give myself an idea of the position of it in relation to the rest of the pot. And the one that's really bright over here is probably more likely the pure cadmium yellow, alright, like, but it's hidden by some of those petals on that daisy. And lift out some of the colour of it. Sometimes yellow appears brighter if it's more transparent with the white behind it. And then there's that third yellow over there, and I'm going to mix the green with some of that orange to make a more muted yellow. That's the colour I've come up with. This is one that you can see. Even just you can't see it from this angle. But it's 1, 2, 3, it's across the paper. And it sits about here. A little bit higher than that centre actually. And it's really quite a dull colour because it's facing away from the light. It's facing away from the light on this window. There's light coming in from the other side, but it's not as bright. Just trying to capture something of the shape of it. I'll put a bit more of the cadmium orange into it just to give it a bit of red as well. Just to give it a bit more colour. And this is darker, but it's a dark, there might have a touch of red in it, but mostly it's a kind of a cooler dark that comes in there. And I think it's emphasised by the fact that it's got, I think, sap green, a dull kind of sap green around its edges before the petals start coming out, and it's got this kind of edge of green, quite dark green in places actually. I think this is capturing something of what I want to say about that. And I'd say I might need a bit of ultramarine blue into the dark there in places to make it really a deeper dark colour. There we are. And I think what I'm drawn to do next is to go down to that pot and to look at the space, look at the shape of the petals cutting into the pot there. And I'm using what I think is burnt sienna mixed with ultramarine blue to make a darkish colour there. So you can't really see it very well, can you? Maybe if I put my hand underneath. See that colour there? Something like that, I think. And if I put a bit more burnt sienna into it, I think it reads as the shadow where the pot stops and the petals begin. And I'm gauging where they begin by the position of the centre of the daisy there. And looking at the negative spaces created by the petals of the daisy. And the thing is, the daisies won't be all completely white either, like. But they're certainly brighter, lighter than the petals. No, they're certainly brighter and lighter than the pot. That's what I meant to say. Made that space there a little bit too big. Just lift off a little bit of that section. Don't know if you can really see I'm going to forget about the daisy pot now and just put you onto the painting. It's got a bit of a shine, hasn't it? Yeah, I hope for the best. For a minute I was lifting off this because I feel like that petal is a bit closer than I have it. This is the broken stand, if you hadn't realised. I'm going to use a bit of paper towel to print off. It's a broken stand because I can't find the other one. I didn't look hugely hard last night, but I was wanting to just set something up last night so that I would tune in this morning. And so I could only find this stand. And there is a kind of a thing of not having everything perfect, I think, before starting. Not having to have everything. Do the best you can to set yourself up, and then it doesn't have to all be exactly right, you know. It's a bit like using really good paper to paint on. You sometimes feel like you have to perform then, you know, and do some sort of masterpiece or something. Whereas when things aren't completely exactly right, I think there's a little bit of that kind of mystery of humanity can slip in there, like, I don't know what I mean by that. Just the way that we are as human beings is kind of flawed, isn't it, generally? So we're kind of tuning in a bit more to that when we, I think, don't have everything computerized perfect. Yeah, I don't know if that's the reason or if it's just I'm trying to justify laziness and not continuing to look. Whatever it is anyway, I'm happy enough with this one. At least I'm painting with my right hand, so I'm not covering pictures I'm painting. Right, I'm still going into the negative spaces in order to explain the shape of the petals for now anyway. A little bit more burnt sienna to warm it up there. Alright, now where to next? I think the colour of the piano behind is similar to the colour of the jug that they're sitting in. So I'm just going to keep the same colour on the brush as I paint the negative space of the piano behind. Whatever it is, it's dark anyway, sure. And what's on the brush is dark. So I'm trying to explain the outline of the petals of the daisy in the background there. And that's got the shadowed centre. I'm going to pick up some Van Dyke brown just to give this piano a slightly different tone from the from the vase because I want it to read as being a bit different from the vase or something, or just maybe a bit cooler. What's going on here now? Needs to be a bit closer there. So you've got that long one there, and then there's a short one, that's shorter, and then there's a bigger space between, there's a bigger negative space between those two small petals and the next big one. It kind of slots in to that one that's meeting this daisy. And then it goes up, yeah, so this needs to be made a bit darker. I think I put some ultramarine blue into it, the colour of the piano behind, because I do want it to sit back unnoticed almost. Its only purpose really being to highlight the edges where the petals stop and the next petal begins or whatever. And then there's a triangular shape that sits here. There's a bit more blue in this now. And then as we go up to the top there, it's quite, I think I will go right up to the top and get that petal that's explained by a really clear triangle of piano. And then there's a longer section there. Before we again meet the flurry of petals that comes from the centre. I'm half closing my eyes now so that I maybe begin to see a little bit more generally and just capture those general darks and lights that are important. Still faithfully observing the shape of the space between the petals, but maybe moving a little bit more swiftly, not getting so, involved in every detail, but loosening up and seeing the general character of the flower as it turns away from us there, like that. It's shining out towards that side. Lost my way a bit, okay. Oh, there we are. So there's a curve around a big petal that ends up very close to that. Yeah. And then there's a couple more really thin ones. And the one that extends farthest out even further than that is low down. Maybe this just needs to come in a touch. And then mix up with a bit more Van Dyke brown and ultramarine blue in order to carry on by observing around the edges till I get back to this one here, which I can deepen with some of that inky blue, I think. And the bit that's farthest most out is here. And then there's a touch of one that's really thin, viewed on its side, I suppose. It's catching the light nicely. There. And shorter than that. And this one seems to be folding down more than I've got it. And also more stubby at the end. It's not all gospel, but I'm doing my best to find the character of it by finding the curve of each petal, general thrust of each petal, you know. And I guess I could also, with half closed eyes, start to climb up and explain the highest one in this. And this daisy here facing me. I mean, I'm making really long petals happen here. But it's easy enough to shorten them, it's not so easy to make them longer. And I'm kind of okay with a touch of exaggeration. They're a glorious flower and they can do with expanding even more than they already do. They're flowering all over the garden now, thanks to my friend Mary, who gave them to me a few years ago. In a plastic bag, a little root of, well, it was a fairly big root, but it's spread out in my garden all over the place and I love them. Sure, I suppose I'll go back to my burnt sand and want to do something more in the vase now that I think the background has dried off. So I'm using, I think that's burnt sienna, maybe it's here. Yeah, I think that's more like burnt sienna there. But I think it still needs a bit of alizarin crimson in it to warm it up a touch for this. It's a Christmas mug that I think Hope got in the Christmas market in Edinburgh. It's kind of terracotta coloured. And it gets fairly warm as it moves towards the light on this side. And you know what I do sometimes to get a clean edge? I sometimes do that. And I'm going to do it here. I think I normally do it with acrylic too. Anyway, we've got some daisy petals on this third one that are coming up to the edge of the vase. And I just trust myself to get a clean edge on the rest of it. And I might even use a bit of orange watercolour pencil because it's really quite bright there where the pot meets the table. And this is a nice bright orange colour. I suppose I might as well do it on the other side too. So just to the left of that. But the colour on this side is significantly darker than that side. It'll be the blended brown, I think I'll use in the mix of ultramarine blue with it. To give it a real depth of tone to emphasise the dark to light contrast around the cup, the vase. I'll try and get the character of it feeling the same on each side. It's important, isn't it? I don't know if I've made that too low now. And I think I've got something that I thought I had a colour that might have represented the pot on that side, but I don't. I've just got this. This is an alizarin crimson watercolour pencil. What is it? It's, yeah, alizarin crimson. I suppose I could just pull across that colour with a bit of alizarin in it. Alright, I'm not sure if that'll be adjusted later, but it's alright for now, I do want to make the background up here a little bit more dominant now, somehow. And there's a few petals that are shooting out there towards the light on the window on that side. doesn't come in quite that far in the dark. Usually about there, and then it's kind of extending up. I think I'm just going to turn the board so that I'll pick that up first. Just pick up that drop there first, and then I'm going to turn the board and let some of these runs here. And some of that paint just pull out away from the daisies because it's all a bit kind of surround. I just wanted something going in having a different pull to it. Maybe with a bit more blue too. It looks as though I need to hold it up more vertically to let those runs happen. Oh. That's alright. My breath kind of shot them in different directions, but sure, it's okay. They are kind of shooting in different directions anyway. Petals anyway. Okay, what am I doing now? I suppose I could bring in some sort of tone to explain the petals of the daisies. They're not quite white, particularly over on the left here. This is fairly dark greys, which I've made with ultramarine blue, and no, I've not. I've made it with the alizarin crimson and alizarin crimson and the hooker's green, I think it is. I'm using blue and brown for the dark on this flower, just to make it different from the ones in front there a little bit. And I might use it for these petals extending out as well here, just to save a bit of time. Or because I think it will work for them. Anyway, carry on over here a bit more. Deepening the tone of some of the central ones. And where I push and lift the brush, the colour reads as being a bit darker there. A few here too. Kind of flurry of them together, you know, long thin ones there. And then we've got this final really bright centred flower whose petals are mostly facing the light. I think there's just a few dark inside bits. And I could outline the lower half of the petals, but I don't think I want to really. I think I've got enough outlining done, you know, with painting the negative space up to meet it. But I do feel like I could do something. Something with this. This is Indian yellow ink, acrylic ink. I think that looks quite good to explain the centre. We'll just see. Put a touch there, see what it's like. Clean brush. Because that daisy does seem to be quite colourful in its centre. In places anyway. And I'd say I could bring the same yellow over there. Give a bit more oomph to that one, and even this one too, so that we know that 3 daisies at the centre there. But something's making me want to do it here too. Mixed with the Illustrating Crimson. Maybe not mixed it out. I've got this ink tense pencil that's water soluble too. Okay, so what am I doing now? I also have a grey one actually. Would be quite good as a way of explaining some of these. I'm not going into too much detail of these ones, you know, just to have a way of explaining them that's different from the way I've explained those. Maybe a touch of water will make it a darker colour as it comes to the centre there. to become too completely literal, but it feels like this is allowing me to capture some of the darker tones and some of that linear. After doing all of the shadows, it's, I think, helpful to have some thinner darks explained. But really, what it is I think the darkest bit is the in between here, the bits where the green meets the yellow, and the channel of green that sits between the white petals and the yellow center. There's a channel of very dark green actually, so that bright green isn't cutting it, so I'm putting some red into it to make it darker. Alizarin crimson red. I mean, it's okay to have the green, mostly green in some parts of it, so the parts that really demand a darker tone are on this one too. So I'll start with the red on this one, and then I can put in some of the green. I'm dipping the pencil into the water so that it's fluid at the top by the time I touch the paper, and that allows it to merge more with the colour that's just gone underneath. Oh, there's a lot. Not that much will come out. I think I'll just soak it up with the brush. So I want that to read as being bright yellow rather than dense dark yellow. And I just noticed there's also a centre to this daisy. That's a centre that's got a bit of dark in it as well, which is like, I think, similar to the colour around it. So I'm just going to do the same thing using the green along with the alizarin crimson. And the alizarin crimson, I think, is it's a Faber-Castell watercolour pencil, whereas the ink tints, whereas the green, this is Hooker's green, and it's a Derwent ink tints pencil. These are ones that I got when I was teaching a little workshop in London not that long ago, when I wanted to have colours that people could use. It was a really quick workshop with people who hadn't painted or drawn very much at all before. Some of them had, but most of them hadn't. And I wanted something that would allow them to get some measure of success by the end of the hour, you know. So I thought if the pencils are there, coloured pencils, you can use your non-dominant hand sometimes to draw with the pencils, and it brings in a nice liveliness. Anyway, it doesn't matter. What was I saying? So that's why I ended up buying these pencils. And in the end, people mostly used paint. They were courageous enough to just go with it, you know. Pencils are exciting to have as an option as well, but it was a lovely mixed media thing that happened. Which I suppose is what this is ending up being. It's a mixed media, really, isn't it? With the touch of acrylic ink as well. I don't know what else to do here now. It's good to have started something anyway, because it's been a while since I've sat down. I had the summer school in Kilkenzie here in Edinburgh, and then I had the one over in Ireland, and I'm only just back a couple of days, and catching up with life in the country here, you know, just getting back in the flow of things here, which is really lovely. It's nice to be home and pottering around. I made 3 pots of raspberry jam, picked raspberries in the field near me here, and it's amazing, you know, how satisfying and simple it is to make a pot of jam. My mum used to always make jam, so it's a lovely memory for me too. Having homemade jam is really, I don't know if we appreciate it so much when we were small, but it's bringing back happy memories now. Raspberry jam. And I also made, because we have rhubarb and gooseberries in our garden, would you believe? Now, one bowl of gooseberries is what I've got. This is our first crop. But I made a cake yesterday with the rhubarb and gooseberries in it. And you know what? It's delicious. It was from a cookbook that somebody, a cake book really, that someone had given me. I forget her name now, a lovely woman down in Cambridge. When I was teaching there last year, gave me a book about like all the cakes that she makes when she runs painting workshops. And she had little watercolour paintings, beautiful watercolour paintings illustrating the book. Anyway, I made her a rhubarb crumble cake and put gooseberries in with the rhubarb. And I love it. I have to watch them because I had 2 slices last night with whipped cream. And, well, I don't have to watch. It's nice. Nice to eat it. But it's nice to have variety, you know, so... for the summer school I made all the cakes myself as well. I was really quite pleased with myself because I wouldn't have ever considered myself a baker, you know. And it was nice then to actually recognise that what I made was good. But of course that was from another book. That was from the cakes that I made for that were from Chapel Cottage Studios cookbook. It's fantastic courses there in Abergavenny Chapel Cottage Studio. And when I taught there for a while, they gave me one of their cake books as well, cake recipe books, and soup and everything, all recipes. They had amazing food there. I know I'm getting all this on the tablecloth now, but sure, it's not an expensive one, and I think it'll wash out. It's watercolour. I just wanted there to be some runs and drips going the other way, and I'd say I may end up stopping there. And if I put it flat, it'll maintain that pull in either direction, which I kind of like. Okay. So, that's it. Good to be back. Good talking to you. And I'll take a photograph of this after the event so that you can see what it looks like with the flowers, because it's a bit hard to lift up now with all the runs. And here am I in my Christmas pyjamas, would you believe? In the middle of July, nearly August. And I'm hoping now that I'll see you tomorrow again. I might do a little bit every day. That's my plan. 40 minutes. I often think it's going to be like a 10-minute thing. 40 minutes is good. It feels good to spend that much time painting at the start of the day. I'm off out with Maisie now. I might pick another batch of raspberries. I need to start giving away the jam. Okay, lots of love. Bye.